Let's just go through this. Overseas critical acclaim for your first band? Check. Top 10 singles cited in National Music Magazine? Check. Regroup, get new name, get a guitarist? Check. Sign on to the major label only to see the entire A&R staff fired? Check. Persevere only to have guitarist quit? You could say it with me. Check. But like any good serial novel, this story goes on. The band formed again, this time adding guitarist Sean Eden, who was with the influential band Luna, also adding bass player Barbara Endes, and we have Carl Bagley on keyboard. All right, you guys, I want to know what kept you going. 18 years is a long time. Renee?
It was never anything that was hard to stick to. It's not like being on a diet or anything. In that, I mean that it was always the easiest thing I've ever done. You know, other things in my life were hard. This was easy. Not doing it and perhaps watching television at night was hard. This was always the easiest thing to do, but then people would come up to me and say, you know, you really stuck it out. How did you stick it out? Wasn't it just grueling? And I say, no, it was the most joyful, wonderful thing I've ever done and still ever do, and the good things really are the easiest, and it flows, and I'm still speeding in my car, you know, trying to get to rehearsal because I'm so excited to work on new songs. So there was never anything to stick to.
What is behind the phrase New Believers as the title of this CD?
The title explains itself. It's having belief in yourself. It's having belief in your ideas. It's perhaps gaining new believers who believe in your music and what you do, and waking up every day with a fresh outlook. And I do think it goes back to having made music for 18 years. It's just a fresh outlook every day. It's always fun. It's always enjoyable, and every day is a blank canvas. So
how would you guys describe your sound? Yeah, Ray, you can jump in here if you want.
Yeah, that's a tough one. When
this is what I love about music journalism is they always have these sort of inside, you know, 60s fizz pop with a little indie rock thrown in. I mean, what the hell does that mean?
Well, there's definitely an historical context that I try to put things in as a producer. I always try to reference things from the past, but you try to give it a new twist when you do it. So you say, well, okay, we're going to mix a little Velvet Underground, but here's maybe what The Who would do, or, you know, and that sort of makes it fun for the music geeks that are listening to you. But for everyone else, they don't really care.
We did an interview on Friday, and I said it's a lot like looking at famous paintings but using your own brushes. So
ooh,
that's a little bit about.
That's nicely done. Well, then tell us a little bit about the song we're going to hear. What's it called, and what's the story behind it?
It's called Los Cruzados, and in Spanish, it means the crossed ones. For me, at the time, I was listening to one of my favorite albums, which is Unicorn, one of the very early T-Rex albums. And if you don't know it, I highly recommend it. It's a very, very psychedelic album. You know, they often talk about elves and magic, and there should be, you know, little bird-like sounds in the field and everything. And it's really quite wonderful. I was listening to that a lot, and I was really wanting to write a song that was a prayer and go into the spiritual. And because I was listening to Unicorn at the time, Los Cruzados is really a melding of psychedelic and spirituality.
Well, let's hear it.
Okay.